This is CCR.
Nita Jumu's City Talk.
That was Smooth Criminal for Shirek, and also Something for Nothing by Rationale for me, just because I like it and I get to choose because I'm in charge of the buttons today. I am joined in the studio now by Harry and Aiden from the 21 Up movement. You may remember a few months back, Nita had Perry Blake on the show, here to tell us all about the 21 Up movement and how he founded it and how it's impacting young people's lives. So we're going to hear from a couple of those incredible young men in just a moment. First of all, I have to give a big birthday shout out to Bobby J. Jackson. Happy 13th birthday from everyone at 21 Up Movement and also all of us here at Chelmford Community Radio. We hope you have had a wonderful day. But now, without any more faffing from me, we have Harry and Aiden in the studio. Welcome.
All right.
How's it going?
Not too bad, obviously. Well, yeah.
You're doing it. You're smashing it. Are you nervous?
Obviously, yeah. So, obviously, my name's Harry. I'm 17. I am ambassador and representative of 21 Up. Literally, just on here today to talk about the movement, about how it's helped, had a detrimental effect on my life, my well-being, and it has. How it will have a massive impact on many others as well.
So, first off, how did you meet Perry? How did you get involved?
So, I first become involved with the movement when I was working, and I was working with my friend Usman, and he was already a part of the movement.
We've had Usman on the show here, yes.
And he was like, "Oh, Harry, come to Barking this Saturday. We've got an event going on." I'm like, "Well, I ain't got nothing else to do." So I went there, went to the thing, and then lovely jerk chicken they made by Perry himself.
Oh, really?
Beautiful jerk chicken. And
nice.
Obviously, went there, we saw what it was about, and it was brilliant, because it was like a whole community brought together, sharing all these different interests. There was music, there was boxing, there was people rapping, showing off their talents, like properly showing the young youth of today in a good light, which I think is something that doesn't happen a lot at this time.
No, it does not. I have a almost 13-year-old boy, and it is a scary time to be raising kids.
100%, definitely, with everything going on at the moment, with knife crime and stuff like that. It's definitely a tough thing.
Which is a particular passion of Perry's, isn't it? And also of Michelle's here at the studio. I believe she won an award for having the Knife Angel. Was it the Knife Angel? In Chelmford here. So it all just ties in beautifully. But that is not what we're here to talk about. I have been to an event of Perry's. He did something in the Meadows a few weeks back, and I was there. Well. You were there. I've probably got photos of you somewhere. I took some pictures there. It was Teddy's birthday that day.
It was his 21st birthday.
It was his 21st birthday at 21 Up. It was a beautiful thing. I think the thing that struck me as you came in was, like you say, there's an incredible sense of community that you don't find that easily nowadays. But he had a guy there who was cutting hair, and he was telling me the story. He said he might want to be a barber earlier on, but he was just completely lacking confidence. So Perry went out, he bought all the tools, he saw him the next week and was like, right, cut my hair then. And now he's doing this he's really got a beautiful way, Perry, of helping people to realise their dreams, and to 100%. Actually, I think he has a way of helping people feel seen, which is
100%.
It's rare, isn't it? But so what is your passion? Has Perry helped you with anything?
So obviously growing up, I kind of, as soon as I hit secondary school, I kind of hit a bit of a rough patch, I guess, and I started, getting involved with things I shouldn't have been getting involved with, doing things I probably shouldn't have been doing at that age, and really going on a sort of like a detour on the path I should have been going. Obviously, I was getting in trouble a lot at school, outside of school. I remember one time, I was out and something happened, and obviously I got brought home by police, and I saw the look on my mum's face when it happened, and I was like, no, this can't be happening. So I stopped doing all of that. And then once I stopped getting in trouble doing stuff like that, I kind of felt, when you stop doing stuff and you feel a bit empty, you kind of like, you don't know what to do with yourself and stuff like that. And then I come to the first event, and I see Perry's there. Obviously, he's treating me like he's met me a bunch of times before. Really friendly as he is, and started doing that. And then he made me realise that if I've come from a place where other people have come from, I'll be able to help them, you know, because I've already experienced all of that.
Yeah.
I can help others that haven't yet come to that point. So I realised that I had a passion for helping people that were stuck in a situation that they found hard to get out of. So obviously one time we went to this event up in Nottingham. He took us all up to Nottingham, went to this massive awards ceremony. We all done speeches, everyone was feeling very proud of themselves, as they should. It was brilliant. And, you know, to come from a place where you're thinking, you know, I'm not gonna succeed in anything, to going up to Nottingham and doing awards speeches and going to awards ceremonies, black tie events.
It's quite the turnaround, isn't it?
And it is, you know, it's just crazy how I was in a situation and now I'm able to help people that are in that situation themselves now. You know, he made me ambassador of 21 Up, which means I'm now more involved, more helping people out, and just doing. We've turned a bad situation into a positive outcome.
Which is incredible, and
yeah,
you're an inspiration to other people that are coming up behind you. Yeah. There is a quote I got sent on Instagram one time, which I just love, and I'm going to paraphrase it because otherwise I'll just butcher it. But it basically says, you know, like some people walk through the fire and get out. Other people walk through the fire and then go back with buckets for those that are still in there. Yeah. That's you. That's I'd hope so. You know, obviously he taught me a really important lesson as well. Don't be disappointed with the results you did not get for the work you did not put in. Oh. You know, he really helps you strive to push that extra mile to get everything you want. I remember one time I was on the phone to him on the way to college, and I was talking to him. I'm like, I'm going to drop out of college. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I can't do it. I physically cannot do it. He went, Harry, if I give you £1 million to get your qualifications, what are you going to do? I was like, I'll probably do it. He goes, no, you do it twice, 3 times. You do it to the amount of times that you felt proud of yourself. I was like, yeah. He's like, well, you're going to get a massive reward out of doing this. And, you know, he puts a different perspective on everything that you do to make sure that you get everything out of the life that you live. Because obviously, you know, you see people nowadays, people are getting stabbed and everything like that. They're not getting involved with things that they should be getting involved with. And I think if the movement was more known, it could save so many lives. Like me myself, I've had, you know, a few friends murdered due to knife crime and stuff like that. One recently as well, at the beginning of this year, he got murdered in Chelmford. And I think if it was more known, the movement was more known, if he had joined that movement, then he'd probably still be here today. You know, but when I say I speak with passion about the 21 Up movement, I genuinely do. I genuinely mean that I've got so much love for what it does and how it helps other people. Like giving kids an alternative.
Yeah, 100%.
An alternative choice. I tell you what, like, as I said, my son is almost 13, so he's just coming out of year 7. Yeah. And, I was not prepared. It is such an eye-opener to have a teenage boy in high school. Definitely. And I mean, he's a really good kid, but he gets into trouble. Like, he's been suspended I don't know how many times. Like, and it's difficult. Like, he's such a wonderful human being, and I'm so proud of him. But he's just can't seem to stay out of trouble. And I think it's so much easier than we realise until we're faced with it. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, look, so obviously there's a lot of stabbings going on. You don't have to even be involved in anything for it to happen, which is why it's so scary. I mean, Aiden, you've got a story about that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, my name's Aiden Finch. I'm a victim of knife crime. I'm quite recent. I've only been recently introduced to the 21 Up movement and Perry. But yeah, like Harry said, I'm a victim of knife crime. November last year, I actually got attacked. It wasn't for any reason. I've never been involved in anything too, deep in that sort of area. And obviously, it wasn't over anything. I've had a nice upbringing. I'd like to say I've had a decent upbringing of my parents. Shout out to my parents. Shout out to mum and dad. Obviously, I've had a decent upbringing of my parents. I've never got involved in anything bad like that. Obviously, I've been in trouble with certain things. Obviously, some situations, but obviously, this is too far to actually.
So this is quite a big misconception, then, isn't it? Like people think, it's gangs, it's this.
Tell them the story. Tell them how it actually happened.
Tell us what happened.
Obviously, it was about 8 in the morning. 8 in the morning.
Oh, it's
woke
early
up.
too. So you always picture it being nighttime.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. So I got up. Obviously, woke up. was going to get a haircut for the college next day because I actually got kicked out of college, but this was my first day back into college. So obviously it's my first day tomorrow to go back to college. So I was walking to go get a haircut. Left my house at around 9:20. Walked, and there's a park right next to my house called Gipswick Park in Ipswich, on the Chantry estate. So I walked past down my road, walked through the park, and just as I started walking down, it got to about 9:30 in the morning. I looked to my left and I see someone trying to call my name, so I took my AirPods out and someone's going, yo, come here. So obviously I'm like, okay, so I walk over there. He comes up to me, he said something along the lines of, so you've been fronting my guys or something like that. And obviously me, clueless, I was like, what are you on about, mate? And then obviously without no hesitation whatsoever, I didn't see the knife, I only saw the knife for a split second, and he done it really quick. Obviously got where my liver was.
Oh my
The
day.
blade actually went in 5 inches. Lucky I had a big North Face puffer coat on, because if I didn't have that coat on, it would have actually pierced, my liver area. Obviously, luckily it didn't. It only went about 5 inches. And that's when I sort of just started panicking, and I didn't realise what happened. And obviously I started trying to run. As soon as I started trying to run, that's when the pain started setting in. And I was like, oh no! So I looked at my coat. It's just a big hole in my coat, and it was all frantic. It was all weird. But obviously, what people have said to me before, obviously after that has happened, is like, oh, then you just recover. Oh, it looks small. Or the scar looks small. And it's because obviously it wasn't the thickest of blades, but it was just how long it was. And people are like, oh, it looks small and it don't look that bad. And all you do is recover and obviously you carry on living your life. But it's not that, because with all these gangs and these rivals and things, obviously if he's been convicted, he's going to obviously think that I've snitched, quotation marks, snitched. Exactly. And he's thought. Well, he's obviously told the police, and it's not.
Even though he got arrested at the scene.
He got arrested at the scene with the knife on him, and he's still out on bail at the minute.
Did a member of the public see and phone the police? Or?
What I did straight away, as I started walking up the hill, obviously panicking around my mum, I was like, Mum, I've just been stabbed. I just don't know what to do. Can you come and get me? She was like, she was panicking. Got to the car, Mum took me in the car, and I think the worst thing of the situation was when we got through my front door. And my 7-year-old little sister was standing at the front door, witnessing the whole thing. And it was the most sort of heartbreaking thing you'd ever want your little sister to see. So it's like, I don't understand what the point with it actually was. So obviously he thought I was someone else. It was a misidentification. But once that's actually happened, and I've so-called snitched, it means that I'm now involved, and I don't want to be involved, but it means that I was involved. But obviously, with all that happening, we ended up moving away. And obviously with that sort of thing happening, you don't just get second chance, you're fine, you keep on living your life. It comes with a whole load of other emotions, or survivor's guilt, or things like that.
Psychological trauma.
And it's exactly. It's all psychological, and it all goes on mentally. And it's like we had to move away to Mersey Island in a little caravan just for a couple months, like weeks or months. And it was like it's horrible having to move away from all of your friends and most of your family in the area.
You weren't even involved in.
Exactly, for something that wasn't even my fault, and it wasn't even something I did, because I'm not exactly a troubled child, as to say. I'm obviously quite well behaved, but it came with a whole load of different emotions. Obviously depression, just thinking, oh, I don't know why would he do that? Just overthinking the whole situation. A lot of anxiety. So obviously my girlfriend, she's still in Ipswich at the minute, so it's like going back there to actually go and see her, it's like a massive struggle.
That's
a
big
huge
trigger.
struggle to actually, and you're walking, you're looking around everywhere, it's like, oh, am I going to see him? What's going to happen if I see him? And it's just things like that. Obviously, I think this is where 21 Up comes into it, is I've only recently started getting involved. Is Perry, so obviously Harry over here, he's like, oh, you should come to one of the events. He even started saying it before the thing happened, but I was like, that's fine.
Did he throw an I told you so right?
Yeah, exactly, definitely. Obviously, after that happened, he said, why don't you come to one of our events? And it was probably about a month ago.
It was the one round the corner, in the shopping centre. You know the one that we went to?
Yeah.
That one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was that one. And I turned up there, and Perry is just really open to just get to know you and see what your situation is.
He's literally your instant best friend.
And he's literally just, that's it, he's your best friend. You're just like, wow, this
You can call him,
guy's
text
amazing.
him.
And it's like, I think a lot of people have different ways to cope with things, and I think my thing is music. A lot of it is music, the things I cope with.
Which is perfect with Perry.
Perfect with Perry as
and
well.
he drags everybody in. I just did the cover art for his next single that's coming out, Bait Face, so we had a very fun photo shoot for that.
Yeah, obviously
we are just going to take a quick break and play a song, and then we'll come back and chat some more.
Awesome.
But I just want to say, Aiden, thank you so much for your bravery. I think it takes immeasurable courage to come somewhere in a public forum and talk about something that's so incredibly powerful. Yeah. And I know you all have impacted some of the people that are listening.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it hasn't affected them yet, statistically, it's going to at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you so much. We are still here in the studio with Harry and Aiden, who have come to us via the wonderful Perry Blake of the 21 Up project. Thank you, boys, both, for still being here.
No worries, it's all good.
If you have been with us for a little while, you have had an incredible story of how the boys have been impacted by the 21 Up movement and how Aiden was a victim of knife crime. So I would like to just circle back to that for a moment, if that's all right, and we can talk about how you've become to recover from that.
Yeah, that's fine. Obviously, like I was saying before, it comes with a whole load of emotions. Obviously, you got, like I said, depression, you got anxiety of going back to the places that you've been. But obviously, after that whole thing happened, going to hospital, I just like to a big shout out to Harry next to me. He was actually the first person to actually come and visit me in the hospital. And yeah, just honestly love this kid for
my
that.
brother.
Honestly, literally brothers from different mothers. It's literally, that's literally.
Well, sometimes I think same dads because we're two alike.
yeah, we are two alike sometimes. But yeah, in hospital, obviously, it wasn't the nicest of feelings. You're not allowed to eat. I wasn't allowed to eat for 2 days. I wasn't allowed to drink anything, but I wasn't allowed to drink anything because I had the drips in that were obviously hydrating me from the water. It was just a very scary experience. It's not nothing that anyone would really. It's not. You don't think about it until it actually happens. You don't realise how scary it is until it actually happens. And I just think that anyone that's got to go through that sort of situation, I really do feel for them, because anyone's mother, just like my mother, how scared my mum was, how scared my dad was, how scared my sister was, my girlfriend, and yeah, it was all mental. But I just want to have a big shout out to my girlfriend and her friend Molly, because them two actually did help me out quite a lot. They actually got me through the situation. Obviously, I wasn't feeling the best of ways. I was feeling very depressed, anxious, just like I said, but them two, they actually helped me through that, and they actually obviously pushed me to carry on. But obviously, leading back towards Perry and the 21 Up movement, I think Perry's songs have helped me out a lot, especially his song Choices.
I love that one.
It's a brilliant song. It just talks about how people are affected by the road life and the situations that come with it, and it's brilliant. It's honestly a brilliant song. But I did have one friend tell me, he actually sent me a message after I got out of hospital, my friend Tanner, and he said, I put a thing on my story about I'm all fine guys, all my close friends, I was like, I'm all fine guys, I'm all okay. And he said, listen, if God didn't want you to be here still, you wouldn't have survived, but because you survived, God wants you to be here. And I live by that now. I actually live by that, because it's like, if it's true, if you didn't want me to be here, then I wouldn't be here. But the reason I survived is because I need to fulfill something in my life, and I feel like 100%. I'm working up towards that. And
100%.
Yeah,
Instead of part, you've had a second chance. Yeah,
exactly.
I do want to just take a quick minute and say, if anybody is listening and they have been affected by anything that you have heard on the radio this evening, please don't just internalize that. There are some really wonderful services out there if you need somebody to talk to. There are websites like knifesavers.co.uk with some tips on who to reach out to. They can signpost you better. We don't want anybody feeling triggered or alone, but we do want to share. These are powerful stories, and it's important that we talk about them so that we can make a lasting impact and a change for our children as they are growing in this world that is so different, I think, than the one that most of us grew up in. So yes, I just wanted to take a quick pause and make sure you boys have been such a joy to have on the radio. I'm so blessed and inspired to have you here. Is there anything else that you want to talk about particularly?
I think, you know, obviously everyone needs to go and follow 21 Up on Instagram.
Absolutely.
You know, go
At
follow
21 Up movement.
Go follow it, share the stories. You need to get the word out there more, because obviously, you know, as I've already said, if more people knew about the movement, more people wouldn't be victims of knife crime, would get out of the situation of it and make a better change for themselves. Obviously, like Aiden was just talking about as well, you know how you said if God didn't want you to be here, then you wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Obviously, people have got the mentality of you only live once, and that really, in my opinion, it's completely wrong. You know, I think you've got to change the wordplay. I think you've got to say, like, instead of you only live once, you say you only die once, but you live every day.
No.
Do you get where I'm coming from?
I do.
So, you know, if you switch it up,
shift,
yeah, it's a perspective.
It's YOLO, like, so you might as well do it, rather than YOLO, so be careful because you will die, like, if you're stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
you just got to make sure that, you know, whatever you're doing is 100% worth it, because at the end of the day, you're the one that makes your decisions.
Yeah.
You're the one that makes
and
choices.
You've got this one life.
You know what I mean? There's no one else to blame. Right.
Also, I just want to have a big shout out to my parents, my mum and my dad.
Yes.
They're actually the main two people. We've got Jeanette Angel and Anthony Finch, and my sister Chloe. She's actually helped me. She actually made me laugh in hospital. Just have a big shout out to my family.
Unpleasant though, with all the stitches?
It was pretty uncomfortable. It was pretty uncomfortable. It hurt quite a lot. But yeah, big shout out to them, because obviously I wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for them guys.
Shout out to Aiden's parents. You are raising an absolutely exceptional boy, and you should be very, very proud.
Thank you.
Obviously, as well, I'd just like to do the same thing. You know, shout out to my mum and my dad, because before Perry come along, it was my mum and my dad sorting me out, but now I'm Perry's. You know, I'm Perry's responsibility now, so, you know, less stress on them.
I'm sure they're very grateful for the impact that he has had on you. I think one of the things that Perry does very well, and you've touched on briefly as we've been chatting off air, is how, you know, you said actually on it that you were going to be dropping out of college, and then obviously you've had like a career focus shift, and we talked about your friend that's the barber, and he is cutting everybody's hair at like the events, and there was another girl I met and he was supporting her. She was doing Jamaican like street food, and she's got a catering business, and there are just so many people. I was there, and there was a girl that was maybe only about 13, and she was doodling on a pad, and Perry just like handed over his bank card, sent her next door to go and buy pens and paper and things to just like inspire. He was just so trusting and so free with how he could see each individual person to inspire them to become what they could be. And I think that's so much of the problem is today we have a tendency to almost like herd children into you have to fit in this box and get these test scores and behave this way and be this person, and we are very much going to judge you for your ability to be a fish whilst you're in high school. And if you're a butterfly, we're not going to tell you you're an incredible butterfly, we're going to tell you suck at being a fish. And Perry has this beautiful way of absolutely just cutting through all of that. I know he has some employment opportunities that he is
got some
encouraging
employment
people with
opportunities coming up.
He did send me a message.
So obviously, if you're interested in gaining employment through the 21 Up movement, just DM Perry.
Yes.
21 Up
and
movement.
if he
Get involved.
doesn't know someone, he will find someone that knows one. We have been on the street and he has met random people. He takes their phone numbers. He wrangles them into getting involved. He has quite the collection of people.
You know, if Perry sees that you've got a talent or you've got something that's worthy to you that you can't quite get there yet, Perry will push you to get to the point where you're at the top. You know, Perry's the type of guy to have a seed and try to build a whole forest. If you get where I'm coming from, if he sees it could be one little spark or an ember, but he will create a bonfire out of that. Like
it's fully doable. You think about one apple comes from one seed, but one apple has 6 seeds inside it. And each of those 6 seeds makes another whole apple tree. Like it's that is Perry. Perry's an apple tree.
I mean, I never thought. But when I first went to Barking to go to the first event, I never thought I'd be doing public speaking up in Nottingham for a black tie event. You know, I never thought I'd be doing that. I didn't think I'd have the confidence, but he works with me. You know, he's been mentoring me for the past like I don't even know. It's been a while though, and you know, even my mum and my dad have said that, you know, Harry, you don't even need to ask to go to Perry's events anymore, because I can see that
that's
the
a
effect.
whole other level of approval.
Exactly.
I think he should have a certificate for that.
Even my dad, he wants to buy some of the caps, and I've never seen this guy wear a cap in my life.
But it's about getting behind. It is a movement. It is not just a name. It's 21 Up movement. It literally is a grassroots movement that is impacting the lives of young people.
100%.
If anybody listening wants to get involved, you can find Perry on just about every platform that there is, I think.
There is.
21 Up movement. And if you ever happen to be in Chelmford or Brentwood or somewhere and you see a random guy walking literally head to toe dressed in 21 Up movement merch,
21 Up belt,
that will
21
be
Up
Perry.
watch.
He's got a hat, a belt, a tracksuit. Like, it's quite impressive.
You might be bringing out tracksuits soon, isn't it?
I've seen a tracksuit.
He's got the tracksuits,
I want to buy one of them.
All of the things.
They're cold.
I think when I get some budget, I should just, before I have coffee with Perry next.
Yeah, next time I want to see you in a 21
I
Up
want like a
tracksuit.
snapback. It's going to be incredible. Guys, if you're listening and you want to support, you can also stream Perry's music on Spotify. You can just link to that through any of the pages that he's on. That's generating an income that goes directly to supporting young people. You can buy snapbacks. I think there were beanies.
Beanies as well.
Even if you don't wear one, like, it's an easy way to support, and you can definitely find
it's a way to
someone
contribute towards the movement.
Gift that too. Yes, absolutely.
All these events aren't free.
No, I'm sure. I haven't asked him, but I'm sure he has like a Cash App or PayPal situation if you do directly want to impact the work that they're doing. It is not cheap. It takes funding and it takes community involvement. I think it's more about their community involvement than funding directly. It's just having the people that can support kids. If you are in an industry and you think that might be industry, you might be willing to train somebody, also reach out to Perry. He is quite the collector of people.
Oh, definitely.
Across absolutely like every possible
I think most
scope.
Some companies out there that obviously claim to help children and do all these things, they're not exactly all 100% true, but 21 Up movement, Perry, he is the full deal. I mean, big shout out to Perry, especially his song choices. Go listen to his song choices. It honestly is amazing. But I think a lot of companies like to obviously take advantage of some people's situations, but Perry, he's just 400%. It's brilliant. Everything he does is brilliant. So big shout out to him.
So obviously, as I said, I was going to drop out of college. I was talking to my girlfriend about dropping out of college. Obviously, she was telling me not to. My dad telling me to drop out of college, telling me not to. My mum, I was going to tell her I was going to drop out of college. She told me not to. But obviously, they're all my family members. So I'm thinking, they just don't want me to leave because I'm their son or I'm their, because I'm related to them. So
sometimes you need somebody with a little bit distance, don't you?
If
be able to hear.
If I go to my mum and say, does what I'm wearing look good? She goes, yeah. Go to Aiden, does what I'm wearing look good? No.
It's not
Do you know what I mean? So I was talking to Perry about it on the way to college. Obviously, he said what he said. He convinced me not to. I ended coming out with college with 4 qualifications.
Wow.
From going to dropping out because I feel like I'm getting nowhere, to getting 4 qualifications. I think it was in the space of 2 months as well.
That's incredible.
I was, it's a massive impact. Anyone that comes to the movement will get 100% of his time. I've called it. I've texted this guy at 3 in the morning. Look, just got back from work, long day, and he's texted me back. I'm like, what's this guy still doing up?
He doesn't sleep.
He
doesn't sleep. I don't know how he does it. He just
I just want to say one of Perry's quotes that is actually in the song Choices, and it's the most amazing quote I think I've ever heard. It goes, "You're not a product of your environment. You're a product of your choices. And if you don't class yourself to a product of your choices, then you're a victim of your circumstances."
And it's the one line that's like slowed down,
and it's just brilliant. It's so brilliant, honestly.
Okay, well, gosh, time has flown. We have been having a lot of fun. I need to just very quickly, because he missed it, we would like to do another shout out to Bobby J. Jackson. Happy 13th birthday from everybody at 21 Up Movement and from all of us here at Chelmford Community Radio.
100.
I would like to say thank you so much again to both Aiden and Harry for being here tonight.
No worries.
This has been
Thank you for having
so
me.
much more than I could have imagined.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on.
So
honestly,
I am going to play this random song now because I need to. Thank you so much for being with us, Chelmsford. It has been wonderful. Nita will be back with you next week. You will not have to suffer your way through my waffling again. Unless, of course, you would like to join me on a Monday lunchtime from the 24th of July, when I will be here for those 2 hours, bringing you a lot less chat and a lot more tunes. But for now, good night.
If I was an astronaut, I'd be floating in midair.